Hey guys, okay, so I'm trying something completely new this time, and I have a camera that's separate from my computer that's going to be recording what I'm talking about. Um, I have never tried it out with a YouTube video with this camera, so if this totally flops, you can make fun of me tomorrow, but hey, I'm going the extra mile here. All right, so for this video, we're going to talk about the 4 conversions that we are going to need to know for our test tomorrow. You have seen this all before. This is in your notes. This is not new information, but just information I just want to reiterate and walk you guys through. So remember, when doing your conversions and building your bridge, there's only 2 types that you set up to be able to either take it from moles to moles, moles to grams, grams to moles, or grams to grams. Remember that you're either going to have a molar mass or you're going to have a mole ratio. So the molar mass, remember that the definition of molar mass, which was the whole mole unit that we talked about in our unit 1, that it is the mass of a pure substance to 1 mole of that pure substance. So you're going to look at the periodic table to find your molar mass, and that's going to be in grams. Now, for your mole ratio, that's that example we kept using in class where if I asked you for a ratio of boys to girls in the class, you could tell me that it's 10 to 15. So you're going to look at, to find the information, at your balanced, and that's key, balanced equation. So for the record, the camera's on top of a box, so I have to work around the box. So if my arm gets kind of funny halfway through this, you guys can make fun of me tomorrow about it. So our molar mass is always going to be grams to 1 mole of that pure substance. So the way you see it, it's either going to be the grams to the 1 mole of whatever that is, grams of whatever, or you're going to have the 1 mole of whatever compound or element or molecule to the grams of that. The mole ratio is always going to be the mole of A you're given to mole of B you're desired, or mole of B you're desired to mole of A you're given. Those are the 2 different types of bridges you set up for your conversions, and those are the different way they're expressed. And this is how you find that information. All right. So molar mass is going to be pink. Mole ratio is going to be, well, with this blue marker, it turns to be like almost a green color. It's kind of like yellow color. All right, let's talk about the 4 conversions that we're going to be working with. So first off, we have mole to mole, which is our most basic. Then we have mole to gram or mass. Then for the next one, we're going to have a gram, also known as your mass, to mole. And last but not least, the hardest one is going to be your gram to gram. These are your 4 types that you will be seeing tomorrow. And it will tell you whatever the number is with. If it is 0.52 moles, it will tell you that number. The one that the number is with is your given, your starting point. Then what you're trying to find is your desired, what you're trying to get to. So, with a mole to mole ratio, with a mole to mole conversion, you only ever use, so mark this down, a mole ratio. That is the only conversion you use. So he's going to get highlighted in yellow. Now, when we do this conversion, it is a single T. So remember, our given always goes in the first box right there. Nothing goes here, ever. And then in this area, that is the area for the mole ratio. So if you have mole A up top here, because mole A is up top, mole A has to be on bottom. And remember that we looked at our balance equation to figure out what our mole A to mole B would be. Once we have both mole A and mole B in our T-chart, we can cross off mole A, cross off mole A, and leaving us with mole B. Remember, anything on top multiplies together and then divides by the bottom. All right, mole to mole grams. Literally a coin just dropped. And it is way hard to teach around a box. So, when learning between mole to gram, gram to mole, it can be confusing to be what goes first. I'm so confused, Misty. So, an easy trick is if it starts with mole, the first word is mole, the first conversion, the first bridge you build is always going to be a mole ratio. Then after that, because you're trying to get to grams, he's going to have a second conversion that goes for molar mass. Mass grams. So when we draw this out, we are going to have a double T-chart. 1, 2. We have a 2 T-chart. Again, our given always goes in top. Then our second part was our mole ratio. third part was our molar mass. Get some color going. So if I start with mole A up here, and A is representing our given, if it's hydrogen, oxygen, H2O, carbon dioxide, whatever it is, he goes up top here. Then mole A versus mole B. And remember that this yellow here was for our mole ratio, and I was able to find this missing part by looking at my balanced equation. Now remember, if it's on top, he has to go on bottom. So the molar mass rule is that you have the grams of the desired equaling 1 mole of B. Remember, it's always 1 mole when it's dealing with your setup with your molar mass. And you found this unknown gram by looking at your periodic table and adding up all of the AMUs. All right, next one is going to be grams to moles. He is just the opposite of moles to grams. So, because he starts with a mass, with grams, his first conversion in your double T chart right here is going to be molar mass. The next one that you're going to set up in your double T chart is going to be your mole ratio. That's because you're ending in moles. So, molar mass goes right here in your T-chart. Your mole ratio goes right here to end it in your double T-chart. Your given is up top. Now your given this time is going to start with grams, grams of A. And remember that with molar mass, your grams of A, which you can find your grams from the AMUs on your periodic table, is always equal to 1 mole of A. So if he's on top, moles of A, that means that mole of A has to be on bottom. So you find your mole ratio by looking at the coefficients in your balance equation, and you can see that mole A coefficient is blank. Not sure what we're using. We'll use examples here in a second. To mole of B. That way we can then cross off grams of A, 1 mole of A, cross off mole of A, leaving me only with B as my final answer. Remember that everything times across the top divides by the bottom. All right. Last but not least, grams to grams. Grams to grams is your longest. It is a 3T chart. 1, 2, 3. And because he starts with grams, he's starting with it. Your first conversion right here, after you're given, is going to be a molar mass. And that's the molar mass of the given. Then you go to mole ratio. Then you end with another molar mass for your desired. So, your given goes in the first box. Your molar mass for your given is here. Your mole ratio goes next. And you finally end with your molar mass of your desired. When you start with a molar mass, you're going to have grams. So let's say grams of A. And let's say hydrogen or something. So you have to put grams of hydrogen, grams of A, down here. And because the pink is your molar mass, you know that 1 mole of A is equal to those grams that you found on the periodic table. Then you do your mole to mole ratio. If mole A is on top, he has to be on bottom to be able to cross off. Now, because you're doing a ratio, you can go from mole A to mole B, your desired. Now remember, it's not going to be a 1-to-1 ratio for any of your mole to mole ratio, most likely. It probably will be 1-to-2, 2-to-3, so make sure you look at your balanced equation before you put in your mole ratio. It's not like molar mass where it's automatically a 1 mole to the grams. So if mole B is on top, we know that with molar mass that 1 mole of B will equal the grams of B. And you can find, again, the grams from your periodic table. These are the 4 conversions that you will be doing tomorrow. Mole to mole, mole to grams, grams to moles, grams to grams. I know it sounds scary to do each of those, but you only have 2 options for how you're going to set it up. So remember to look this over. Remember that moles to moles is your smallest, and he only has 1 conversion. And grams to grams is your largest. He's going to be the most complex. And remember, another study trick is if he's on top, the unit's on top, he has to be on bottom to be able to cross out. I hope this was helpful, guys. This is something you guys have seen in class. Please message me if you have any questions. We are going to go over some actual problems here in a second. So yeah, hope you guys are having a great evening.